What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about the short-term and long-term prospects of altcoins in this video. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. It's the 20th day of January, and we're looking at the others chart to do this. Others, for those of you that don't know, is the crypto total market cap excluding the top 10. Really, it's the top 125 coins in crypto, right? You've got all these different coins, right? The top 125, it just excludes the top 10. Okay, so this is the market cap total. It's effectively, it's like our S&P 500, but for the crypto markets, right? It's our altcoin index, so to speak. Whenever we expect a 10% pump or a 10% drop, the average altcoin in the top 100, 150 will probably pump 10% or drop 10%. That doesn't mean that every coin pumps 10% if we pump 10% here. Some will pump 15, some will pump 8%, some will dump. But the average coin will likely pump if this moves up. The average coin will likely dump if this moves down. Okay. So I think understanding this chart can help us understand what the market's looking like as a whole. And if we look at this chart, it seems as though we're in the formation of an M pattern. M, right here. Typically, M patterns come back down to where they began, and even just below where they began. If it's a failed M pattern, if it's bullish, then we're going to have a higher low. If it's a successful M pattern, if it's bearish, we will have a lower low. It's more or less that simple. If we're looking at this here from a relative low to a relative high, we are in our primary target zone, the 1272 to the 1618 area. This is a totally acceptable area to find support. We don't have to go lower than this. And again, a higher low is good. But if I'm being honest, I wouldn't think that we stop here. I would think that we have a little bit lower to go. And I think the right word to use is a little bit. The right words to use. A little bit. Just a little bit. I don't know if we go below these lows. I don't know if we go below these lows. But if we do, I would imagine it's barely and it's not for long. I wouldn't assume that we go down too much lower. I want to look at the indicators, see what they're telling us, and then go from there. I'm not going to use the 1 hour time frame because the 1 hour is probably bearish. Let's just use the 4 hour. Okay? The 4 hour time frame here. There's no bullish divergence. It's the worst whenever you actually have this look like you've got bullish divergence and you still have it, and then finally you get rid of it. That's really depressing. Really depressing indeed. We've got this double bottom look, rejected the oversold zone, not a good look on the RSI, not a good look on the stochastics or the MACD. With that being said, there technically is still bullish divergence on the stochastics and the MACD, but we still can go lower. Again, just like the RSI, you have it until you don't. We keep progressing lower, we're not going to have bullish divergence anymore. I'm not really confident that we bounce here, though it's possible. It is possible. But I'm not confident that we bounce here. Looking at the indicators, I'm taking a bearish stance, not a bullish one. If we do bounce here, if we get even a, let's just say, a 4%, let's go with a 5% bounce across the space. If you're looking at your lists on TradingView, you're looking at CoinMarketCap, whatever, if the average altcoin's up like 5% or more instead of down 5% or more like they are today, then likely we are having a double bottom. Likely we are vindicated and we're going to be moving up higher instead of lower. But until then, until we get above about $211 billion in market cap value, until the average altcoin pumps like 4.5% to 5% higher from here, I'm assuming the bearish stance. I'm assuming that we do go lower. If we look at this on the daily time frame, we use our handy dandy fibs here from a low to a high. I'm going to take the first high, not the fake out high. That's just how I do it. You can take the fake out high, but I don't know if it respects that. I think we're respecting this high. We'll see. The golden ratio, you found support right there. And at the end of the day, from here to there, does it make that big of a difference? No. I mean, you still found support of the golden ratio zone. But likely, what we're going to see is we are going to go down to the 786, 886 area. So that would then imply, or I mean, maybe we do hold support at these lows. Maybe we can hold support at these lows. It is possible as well. Best case scenario, the space as a whole will drop 2 to 3% more. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we die. And then the most likely scenario, at least in my opinion, is that we drop anywhere from another 7% to about 4.5% from here, collectively as a whole. We will form this, I think this is a harmonic pattern even, this overall setup. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But we'll form this M shape. Hopefully a successful bullish M with a higher low, and then come out of here. With this M shape in mind and finding support at the 786, 886 zone here, we would also have the appearance of I feel like what would look like a W pattern, right? And very bullish W's typically do have these little M's in the middle of them. The most bullish W's are the ones where this point here, this little section, is actually an M pattern, just like this here. So I'm hoping that's what we get. I'm hoping we get a double bottom. This looks like a rounded kind of bottom here, so this could be your Eve. If we V-shape recover out of this could be an Atom. We could have an Eve and Atom double bottom here for the other chart, which would be a very bullish setup for the space as a whole. I'm assuming that we will find support after we drop about, what was it, like 4 to 7%, something like that. After we drop that much more, at best it's like 2 to 3%, right? After we drop a little bit more in the markets, probably for the rest of this week. Going into next week, or at least certainly February, I would expect, I mean, the MACD looks bullish. Sorry, let me finish my thought. Going into February, I think February is going to be a really good month, you guys. I think February is going to be ecstatic. But maybe the end of this month we don't have a rally. Maybe we do dump into the end of this month, or at least a good bit of it, right? I don't expect that we dump too much, but we do go a little bit lower. Just because we're going a little bit lower doesn't mean that it's done tomorrow. It could take a week or two until we're done dropping, quote unquote, a little bit lower. The MACD on the daily time frame does look bullish. We crossed above the zero. That's nice. We're back testing the zero for support. We'll probably bounce off that. And again, maybe the last few days, probably not this week, but the last few days of this month, maybe we get a little bit of a pump up. February should be good. Stochastics are reset, but they're bearish. The RSI is reset, but it's bearish as well. So a little bit lower being the keywords. But when we do start to move higher, the expectation there from a high to a low, I don't like that we rejected the golden ratio there. If and when we do start to move higher, the expectation would be that we move up to the 786, 886 zone here, which should promote something on the lines of about a 62% to a 95% pump across the board. Again, this is on average. Some coins will pump more than that. Some coins will pump less than that. But most coins should, on average, pump something in between 95 to 60%. I would guess sometime between now and the middle of February. If not by the end of February, but sometime between now and then. I think that we're going to be looking at a whole different market over the next 20 days. But we'll see. And then as time goes on, of course, I believe that we'll go higher and higher. By the end of this cycle, my expectation is that the others chart will go all the way up to about a $6 trillion valuation. And in that context, if you take the current valuation of the others chart to the presumed outcome, at least presumed on my behalf, the $6 trillion level, and maybe just above 6 trillion, but somewhere around there, that'd be something on the lines of a 30x. So the average altcoin, and I say the average altcoin, I mean the average altcoin in the top 120, 125. The expectation is, and outside of the top 10, expectation is about a 30x. All you have to do is just buy and hold, right? Most of these coins, especially the coins in the top 20 and the top 50, they're just buy and hold coins, right? It gets riskier as you go down, but even in like the top 200, it's just buy and hold coins. And I think if you buy and hold, and if you just keep buying and DCAing, you can rest assured that you will see a 30x return or somewhere thereabout between now and the end of this year. That's the expectation. Maybe in 2027, I don't know. We'll see. But that is assuming that we're still in a bull market. Things will change. We'll change this expectation if this dump is not what I think it is. If it's more than just a little dump, if we have a lot more to go, maybe we are entering a bear market or something at this point. You know, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. I very much believe we are in a bull market. I'm very convinced of that. I have zero doubt that we're in a bull market at all. And the reason why, if anybody's doubting, is we have higher lows. We have higher lows still. Never seen a bear market where we had higher lows and higher highs. We have both. We have higher lows and higher highs. What we're doing right now is proving ourselves. We're proving ourselves both, are we in a bull or are we in a bear? We're proving ourselves. And in this zone here, talking about Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin's in a bear market, your others chart is not going to be in a bull market. And if we're not in a bull market, well, this whole expectation is going to go out the window. This whole 30x expectation, it will happen, but after we have a bear market, and then we'll probably have higher or more gains to go from lower points. The point being, we're in a kind of prove it scenario right now, where if we break out to the downside, the bears are validated because now we actually can have lower lows. Assuming that we break out and we do see a lower low, we'd have lower lows. Lower lows in a bull market on a macro scale, I've never seen that, so we would probably be in a bear market. The bulls are in a bit more of a precarious situation because we can break out of this to the upside and still we have to prove ourselves. Are we in a bull market or are we not? Again, I'm confident we're in a bull market, but I'm talking objectively here, not subjectively. Subjectively, I'm in a bull market. Objectively, we're in a wait and see kind of moment. Objectively, the bears have the upper hand because if we go lower, if we break out, we're likely going to take out these lows. We will have macro lower lows, and that's hand in hand coincides with the bear market. Watch us get a macro lower low, and then we pump, and then we dump down, right? Throw everybody off. But the bulls are a little bit more precarious because if we do break out, we're still in this lower high dynamic where we have to push higher to validate that we are in a bull market. It's not enough just to have a higher low. So the whole point of this is that we're in this wait and see environment. I think the most important thing, anytime that I'm in a wait and see environment and we are still technically in a bull market, it's to just buy and hold and wait and see. It would be very, very, I think, unlike Bitcoin and unlikely that we just break out to the downside from here without at least getting some type of bull trap before going lower. I'm talking about going lower, but I don't assume that that's going to happen. I'm only talking about that because if I'm wrong, and I can be wrong, I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. If we're in a bear market, this is probably exactly what we'd see. We'd see some kind of bear trap. Our last bear market kicked off with a higher high, with a full blown bull trap, right? Here we had a lower high, a macro lower high, right? But it was a significant lower high. It wasn't just in this consolidation range, right? We broke out, right? We go back to our prior bear market. Here we dropped down and then we pumped up a whole lot and then we dropped, right? We had a discernible lower high. This isn't really a discernible lower high, I would say. I mean, it could be. There's no rule that says that we can't go lower. But again, the whole purpose, the whole thing that I'm trying to promote here is that I think that altcoins are due for a 60 to 95% pump between now and the end of February. I don't believe that we're in a bear market, but if we are in a bear market, I still believe we would see some type of pump and then we would dump down, right? Some last pump or something like that to happen before we drop. I don't know. I've got nothing else to say. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I very much believe we're in a bull market. I very much believe that if you buy and hold a various amount of cryptos between the top 11th crypto and the top 200th crypto, you're going to see on average a return of a 30x from here. But if you wait a little bit, that 30x might turn into a little bit more. Because maybe we drop down. How low are we going to drop down to? Let's just see. Get it back down to that area. Something around here, right? That 30x turns into a 31, almost a 32x. So if you want to add a couple x's to it, there you go. But I got nothing else, guys. I'm just rambling at this point. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.